What if you faced a creature that could never truly die? A monster that could heal from any injury and turn every attack against you? That was the nightmare waiting for this warrior. The moment he came face to face with the immortal beast, the battle became a fight for survival. One powerful strike sent him flying across the ground. His weapon was broken, and the creature standing before him seemed almost impossible to defeat, but he refused to give up. He grabbed a nearby metal door and used it as a shield. With nothing but courage and instinct, he charged forward once again. He blocked the beast's deadly claws and used his speed to land a powerful attack on its body. For a moment, it looked like his plan had worked, but the monster barely reacted. To the creature, his strongest attack was nothing more than a small scratch. Before he could think of his next move, the beast's massive tail came crashing toward him. He quickly raised his blade and cut it off. He thought he had finally created an opening, but then he witnessed something impossible. The severed tail started growing back right in front of his eyes. In seconds, the creature had regenerated completely. Before he could even react, the powerful tail wrapped around him and trapped him completely. The fight was far from over. At the same time, his injured companion was trying to repair her damaged body. Suddenly, a huge impact shook the area as the warrior was thrown back toward her. Before she could even understand what happened, the beast pulled him away again. The creature opened its enormous jaws, ready to swallow him alive. With his last bit of strength, he attacked and managed to cut its tongue, but that only made things worse. The immortal beast became completely furious, and now the real battle was about to begin. The beast's rage reached a completely different level. Every attack became faster and more dangerous. The warrior could only keep avoiding its strikes, knowing that one mistake would end his life. Just when it looked like there was no way out, his companion appeared. Even with half of her body damaged, she rushed toward the battlefield to help him. She distracted the creature for a few seconds, giving him the chance he desperately needed. The warrior quickly grabbed a heavy metal chain nearby and threw it toward the beast. The chain locked around its massive jaws. Then he activated a nearby mechanism, causing the chain to tighten with incredible force. The giant creature was pushed backward, but the warrior knew the truth. Normal weapons would never be enough to defeat this monster. His real goal was not to hurt it. He wanted to make it angry. The plan worked perfectly. The beast became even more aggressive and attacked again with its huge tail. But this time, the warrior was prepared. He slammed a heavy door shut and trapped the creature's tail. Using the opening, he climbed upward and moved closer to its head. For the first time, the immortal beast was unable to move. This was his only chance. With all his strength, he attacked and separated the creature's head from its body. The warrior released a victorious roar, believing the impossible had finally happened. But his victory lasted only a moment. The creature's neck started rebuilding itself. Flesh returned, bones formed again, and within seconds, the beast was alive once more. That was when he finally understood the true horror of this enemy. It was not just powerful, it was almost impossible to kill. The creature slammed him to the ground and pinned him beneath its massive foot. His strength was fading, and the beast slowly opened its jaws, ready to finish him. But then something strange happened. The monster suddenly stopped. It sensed a familiar smell coming from the warrior. Its eyes, once filled with anger, slowly became calm. Before the warrior could understand what was happening, a freezing grenade rolled beside them. A wave of icy energy spread across the area, covering everything in frost. The immortal beast and the warrior were both frozen in place. But this was only the beginning of a much bigger mystery. After the battle, both the warrior and the immortal beast were captured and placed inside a massive container. They were transported to another secret facility owned by a powerful organization. When the warrior finally woke up, he found himself trapped on an operating table. His body was completely restrained, and he had no idea what was going to happen next. Then he saw a familiar figure standing nearby. At first, he thought his companion had come to rescue him. He called out to her, asking her to free him, but when the figure turned around, his hope disappeared. It wasn't his companion, it was her sister. Meanwhile, his real companion was lying motionless in another room. Her eyes had lost their light because her system had been forcefully shut down. By accessing her memories, the woman already knew everything about the warrior. She discovered his past, his abilities, and the secrets of his species. She was confused about one thing. Why was someone like him still alive when his own people usually removed their weakest members? Soon, she inserted a small device into her sister's mind and restarted her systems. Slowly, her consciousness returned. When she opened her eyes and saw her sister standing there, happiness appeared on her face. She believed that after everything she had suffered, someone had finally come to save her. But that happiness did not last long. Her sister had no interest in emotional reunions. She only cared about completing the mission. The immortal creature's regeneration ability was something beyond imagination. If they could bring it back to Earth, it could become the greatest discovery in history. Then her attention turned toward the captured warrior. She injected him with a powerful sedative and prepared him for experiments. To her, he was another valuable specimen. His companion tried to stop her. She argued that studying their technology was more important than hurting him, but her words meant nothing. The woman activated the machine. A powerful electrical current started flowing through the warrior. warrior's body. His entire body shook from the pain as he struggled to survive. Watching this, his companion realized one thing. If she did nothing, he would not survive the experiment. Seeing that her warnings were being ignored, the companion finally took action. She reached forward and shut down the machine herself. The moment she did that, her sister's expression changed completely. She was furious. She reminded her that this was not about personal feelings. It was a mission ordered by their creator, and nothing was more important than completing it. But her companion still refused to accept it. She believed that protecting life mattered more than following a cold command. She thought their emotions existed for a reason, to help them understand others and create real connections. Her sister looked at her with complete disappointment. Then she revealed the truth. She had not come there to save her. She had come only to finish the mission. Those words destroyed the trust between them. The person she once believed would always protect her now felt like a stranger. At that moment, another synthetic soldier entered the room with a new message. Their creator had sent new orders. The warrior had to be forced to reveal the secrets of his weapons and technology. As for her companion, she was no longer useful. She would be packed away and returned to their headquarters for disposal. Hearing this, her eyes lost all hope. But even though she could not change her own fate, she made one final decision. She would save the warrior. Using their hidden language, they secretly created a plan. The soldiers around them could not understand a single word they were saying. The warrior told her to make the guards believe that the device in his hand was actually a map containing valuable information. The soldiers immediately became interested. One of them moved closer to inspect it. But the moment he touched the device, a hidden explosion was triggered. The soldier was destroyed instantly. Using the confusion, she quickly removed the restraints from the warrior. Then she rushed to open the spacecraft door. By the time her sister and the soldiers arrived, it was already too late. The warrior was gone. But his escape was only the beginning of his greatest transformation. The warrior jumped from the spacecraft before anyone could stop him. He crashed down a mountain slope, rolling through the rough terrain before finally falling into a massive waterfall. Somehow, against all odds, he survived. Once he was safe, he used his tracking system to locate his brother's old spacecraft. He believed he would find powerful weapons and equipment there, but when he entered the ship, his hopes were destroyed. The entire place had already been looted. Every important weapon was gone. The only useful thing he found was a medical device, which helped him treat his injuries. But the pain inside his heart was much harder to heal. He remembered his brother. His brother had sacrificed his own life to protect him, and now he felt like he had failed completely. For the first time, he started questioning himself. Was he really too weak? Was he truly not worthy of becoming a warrior? Just when he was about to lose all hope, the old spacecraft suddenly activated again. A recorded message from his brother began playing. Hearing his brother's voice brought back the strength he had lost. Every word reminded him that survival was not about being the strongest. It was about having a reason to keep fighting. He walked to the center of the ship and picked up his brother's mask. Holding it in his hands, he felt as if his brother was still watching over him. Then he remembered something his companion had once told him. A true warrior is not someone who only knows how to kill. A true warrior also knows how to protect. Without advanced technology or powerful weapons, he decided to use something else. His intelligence, his patience, and the resources around him. He collected razor-sharp plants from the wilderness and turned them into weapons. He captured explosive creatures and gathered the strongest parts from dangerous beasts. Everything around him became a tool for survival. Finally, using the same method his companion once used, he gained the trust of a flying creature and made it his new partner. With his preparation complete, he returned to the enemy's base. But when he arrived, he discovered something unexpected. A small creature was waiting there, and the truth behind the immortal beast was finally about to be revealed. As the warrior moved closer, he noticed the small creature sitting quietly near the place where the immortal beast had disappeared. The creature looked completely different from before. It was not waiting to attack. It was mourning. The warrior watched its sadness and slowly understood the truth. This small creature was the child of the immortal beast. Suddenly, everything made sense. The reason the giant creature had spared his life earlier was not because it was weak. It was because this little creature had accepted him as someone it could trust. The warrior finally understood that even the most dangerous monsters could have emotions. They could have bonds. They could have a family. Instead of seeing it as an enemy, he accepted the little creature as his new companion. From that moment, they were no longer strangers. Together, they moved forward toward the enemy base. Inside the abandoned area, the warrior found a damaged mechanical leg belonging to his companion. The moment it activated, the machine immediately began searching for its owner. Following its movement, the warrior reached the hidden facility. But getting inside would not be easy. The guards were everywhere. Luckily, his flying companion attacked first. The unexpected strike gave him the opening he needed. One by one, the enemies were taken down before they could even react. Even without advanced weapons, the warrior had become extremely dangerous. The sharp plant-made blades, the weapons created from monster parts, and his own battle experience made him a completely completely different fighter. The small creature also stayed beside him, helping him during every fight. Together, they moved deeper into the facility. But the closer they got to their destination, the stronger the security became. Soon, a group of enemy soldiers appeared in their path. This time, hiding was impossible. The warrior stepped forward, and the battle inside the enemy base was about to begin. The enemy soldiers attacked without hesitation, but the warrior was no longer the same person who had entered this world before. Every battle he had survived had changed him. His movements were faster, his decisions were smarter, and he knew exactly how to use the environment around him. Within moments, 2 soldiers were already defeated. The final soldier tried to fight back and reached for his weapon, but before he could react, the warrior struck first and cut through his arm using the sharp blade he had created from the dangerous plants. However, the soldier did not stop. These creatures did not feel normal pain. Even with a serious injury, he continued attacking with incredible strength. The enemy grabbed the warrior and pushed him against a thick glass wall. Realizing he could not win through strength alone, the warrior made a risky move. He shattered the glass. Behind that glass was a dangerous biological sample. A powerful vine-like creature was released instantly. Before the soldier could understand what was happening, the vines wrapped around his entire body and pulled him away. The warrior used that moment to continue deeper into the facility. Meanwhile, his companion had already regained control of her systems. Using her mechanical legs, she moved through the base silently. She attacked from unexpected angles, catching the enemy off guard. With perfect timing, she used their own security systems against them. One by one, the soldiers were eliminated, but the fight was not over. More enemies arrived after discovering the disturbance. She immediately pretended to be inactive, waiting for the perfect moment. As soon as they lowered their guard, she launched another surprise attack. Her body and mechanical parts worked together like a single fighter. Even though the enemies were stronger, she used strategy instead of power. She created openings, avoided direct attacks, and turned their own mistakes against them. Finally, with the help of her mechanical legs, she defeated the last remaining soldiers. For the first time in a long time, she was free. But she still had no idea that someone had come all this way just to save her. Soon after the battle, the warrior finally reached the same area. He was searching everywhere for his companion when suddenly a weapon was pointed at him from behind. For a moment, everything became tense, but then she appeared. She stopped the attacker and realized the truth. He had not come to fight. He had come to save her. After everything she had lost, a smile finally appeared on her face. She had lost the person she once depended on, but now she had found someone who was willing to risk everything for her. She wanted them to leave immediately, but the warrior stopped her. He told her that the small creature was actually the child of the immortal beast. If they escaped now, it would lose its mother forever. They could not abandon it. At the same time, the enemy had already prepared the immortal beast for transport. Their plan was to take it back to Earth and use its regeneration ability for their own experiments. Time was running out. The warrior quickly created a new plan. He would activate the base alarm and draw all the soldiers toward himself. While everyone was distracted, his companion would reach the container and free the giant creature. The plan worked perfectly. The alarm spread throughout the facility, and most of the soldiers rushed toward the warrior's location. He stood alone in the open area. The enemies surrounded him from every direction, but instead of running, he calmly sat there. It looked like he had accepted defeat, but the truth was completely different. The entire area was already filled with traps. As the enemies moved closer, his flying companion released a special substance onto the ground. The hidden explosive creatures reacted instantly. A series of powerful explosions erupted across the battlefield. The enemy soldiers were caught completely off guard, but before the warrior could celebrate, the ground started shaking. A massive machine was approaching. The enemy commander had arrived wearing a powerful combat suit, and this time, she was not coming to capture him. She was coming to destroy him. The massive combat suit moved closer with every step. The warrior immediately realized that this enemy was different. This was not just another battle. One mistake against this machine could end everything. The commander activated her most powerful weapon and locked onto his position. There was almost no time left to escape. Then, at the last moment, his flying companion rushed forward. It knew exactly what it had to do. The creature used its own body to block the attack and save the warrior's life, but the powerful blast was too much. His loyal companion fell after taking the full force of the weapon. Seeing his only true ally lying on the ground, something inside the warrior changed. His fear disappeared. Only anger remained. He charged toward the combat suit with everything he had. The commander attacked with a massive metal weapon, but he managed to avoid the strike and counterattack. He used his handmade weapons and tried to trap the machine, but the difference in power was clear. The advanced technology of the combat suit was far beyond anything he had. Every attack he launched was blocked. Every move he made was predicted. The machine pushed him back again and again, but the warrior refused to surrender. During the fight, he noticed another dangerous biological sample stored nearby. He quickly changed his strategy and used the environment instead of fighting with pure strength. When the machine's arm smashed into the container, the creature inside was released. The powerful vines immediately wrapped around the mechanical arm, slowing the suit down. The warrior saw his chance. He rushed forward, ready ready to deliver the final strike. But the commander was still hiding one more secret. The battle was not over yet. The commander quickly activated her defense system. A powerful energy shield appeared around the combat suit, protecting her from every attack. The warrior attacked with all his strength, but his handmade weapons could not break through the barrier. At that moment, his companion reached the transport container. She tried to open it using her access system, but the commander had already removed her permissions. The security system rejected every attempt. Then, enemy soldiers arrived. Thinking quickly, she changed her appearance and voice to imitate the commander. She ordered the soldiers to leave the area immediately. For a moment, the trick worked, but then one soldier noticed the small creature standing behind her. The secret was exposed. Before they could react, she attacked first. At the same time, the warrior was still fighting the combat suit. He realized that direct attacks were useless, so he changed his approach. He disappeared into the surroundings and waited for the perfect moment. The commander searched for him carefully. Blood drops on the ground revealed his location, and she immediately grabbed the nearby container. But when she checked behind it, the warrior was gone, because he was hiding underneath. As the blood continued to fall, he launched a surprise attack. Using a sharp bone-like weapon, he struck the commander's shoulder. For a moment, it looked like he had finally found an opening, but the combat suit activated its protective shield once again. The warrior's attacks bounced away without causing any damage. The commander believed the battle was already decided. She thought there was nothing left that could stop her, but then a huge shadow appeared behind her. The immortal beast had finally been freed, and now it was coming for the person who had captured it. The moment the immortal beast saw its enemy, its entire body filled with rage. After being captured and used as an experiment, it finally had the chance to take revenge. The giant creature charged forward with incredible speed and slammed into the combat suit. Its massive jaws grabbed the machine, and the force of the impact pushed the armored suit backward. But the commander remained calm. She activated the rotating blades hidden inside the suit. The powerful mechanical weapons started spinning and struck the beast with incredible force. In seconds, the immortal creature was lifted into the air. Seeing the danger, the warrior did not hesitate. While the commander focused on the beast, he moved silently behind the combat suit. He searched for the machine's weak point and found the main energy cables. With one powerful strike, he cut them. The spinning blades immediately stopped. The beast dropped back to the ground, finally free from the machine's attack. The commander quickly reacted and opened her shield again. She reached for a freezing grenade, planning to use the same weapon that had trapped them before. But this time, the warrior was ready. He threw his weapon with perfect timing and knocked the grenade away before she could activate it. The battle had completely changed. The immortal beast, already injured and full of anger, attacked with all its remaining strength. The massive creature grabbed the combat suit and began tearing it apart piece by piece. The powerful armor that seemed impossible to destroy started breaking under the beast's unstoppable force. Inside the damaged cockpit, the commander tried to fight back, but this time there was nowhere left to escape. The creature pulled open the cockpit and dragged her out. She tried to activate her final weapon, but it needed time to charge, and she didn't have that time. The immortal beast looked at the person who had taken away its freedom. Then, with one final attack, it ended the battle. The battlefield finally became silent. But for the warrior, this was not just a victory. It was the moment when he realized that even the most terrifying creatures could have love, loyalty, and a family. After the battle was finally over, the immortal beast slowly walked toward its child. The small creature ran toward its mother, and the two touched their heads together. Without saying a word, they shared a moment that showed how much they had missed each other. Then, the small creature looked back at the warrior. It was as if it was telling its mother that he was no longer an outsider. He was family. The warrior understood the meaning behind that moment. He stepped forward and showed the same respect in return. For the first time, he did not feel like a weak warrior trying to prove himself. He felt like someone who had finally found his place. But suddenly, everything changed. The immortal beast let out a painful roar. Cold energy started escaping from its mouth. Its entire body began freezing from the inside out. The warrior watched in shock as the creature that had survived countless battles slowly turned into ice. Then a massive explosion shook the entire area. The immortal beast was destroyed. Everyone believed it was over, but the truth was much more dangerous. As the smoke cleared, a figure slowly stood up from the ruins. The commander had survived. She had activated the freezing weapon from inside the creature, knowing that it would stop its regeneration ability. She had sacrificed everything just to complete her mission. Now, seeing her own sister standing against her, she showed no hesitation. She immediately activated her final weapon. But this time, the warrior and his companion were ready. The final battle had begun. After everything they had lost, they were no longer fighting just for survival. They were fighting for each other. The commander's final attack was powerful, but the warrior was no longer the same person who had entered this world. He had survived impossible battles. He had lost people he cared about, and he had learned what true strength really meant. Working together with his companion, he fought back with everything they had. The commander's advanced technology was dangerous, but her confidence became her weakness. She believed machines and orders were everything, but she never understood the power of loyalty. After a long and brutal fight, the commander was finally defeated. The mission she valued above everything else came to an end. With the enemy gone, the warrior looked toward the sky. His journey was not finished. There was still one place he needed to return to, his own home, the place where he was once considered weak, the place where his brother's life was taken. Soon after, the warrior returned to his clan. When his father saw him standing alive in front of him, his expression changed instantly. He could not believe that the son he had abandoned had returned as a completely different warrior. The warrior said nothing. He simply threw the proof of his victory before his father, the defeated enemy's head. It was the symbol that showed he had completed his trial, but he had not returned only to earn respect. He had returned for justice. He wanted his father to answer for everything that had happened. His father still refused to accept his transformation. Instead of showing pride, he ordered 2 warriors to eliminate it. They stepped forward confidently, but they had no idea who they were facing now. The warrior who once struggled to survive had become someone who could defeat the strongest enemies. And this time, he was ready to face anyone who stood in his way. The 2 warriors rushed toward him with complete confidence, but within seconds, they realized they had made a mistake. The warrior moved faster than they expected. Every attack they launched was avoided with perfect timing. The battles he had survived had completely changed him. His skills were sharper, his instincts were stronger, and his fear was gone. In just a few moments, both warriors were defeated. Now only his father remained. Seeing his son's strength, his father finally stepped forward. He pulled out his powerful energy blade. There was no love left between them, only a battle that had been waiting for years. The fight began. His father had a much larger body and overwhelming physical strength. Every strike carried incredible power. The warrior could not win by fighting directly, so he relied on what he had learned: speed, strategy, and patience. Instead of trying to overpower his father, he waited for the right moment and attacked his weaknesses. For the first time, his father realized that his son was no longer the same person he once looked down on. The first round ended without a clear winner, but his father still had another advantage. He activated his advanced invisibility technology. In an instant, his body disappeared. The battlefield became silent. The warrior could not see his enemy, but he knew this moment would come. He had already prepared for it. Without wasting time, he activated the engine of the nearby spacecraft. The powerful force created a massive storm of sand across the area. The invisible technology could hide his father's body, but it could not hide him from the sand. Slowly, the hidden warrior became visible again. The advantage was gone. Now the real fight was about to begin. The moment his father became visible again, the warrior did not hesitate. He moved forward with everything he had. This time, his father could no longer rely on strength or technology. The warrior had already learned how he fought, how he moved, and how he thought. Every attack was carefully calculated. Every movement had a purpose. The battle that once seemed impossible was now completely different. The warrior continued pushing forward, forcing his father to defend again and again. The same person who was once treated as weak was now standing above the warrior who had always looked down on him. With one final exchange, the warrior struck with perfect timing. His father lost his advantage. The fight was over, but the warrior did not immediately finish him. He wanted to hear the last words from the person who had caused so much pain. His father looked at him and still tried to convince him to return. He promised him power, respect, a position higher than anyone else in the clan. All he had to do was submit, but the warrior no longer wanted those things. He had already found something far more valuable: a real family, a bond built on trust, a reason to protect instead of just destroy. As he finished speaking, the small creature walked out from behind him. In only a few months, it had grown much larger and stronger. The warrior then picked up his father's broken arm and removed the energy core hidden inside it. This was the source of the invisibility technology that every true warrior of the clan possessed, the symbol of becoming a complete warrior. At that moment, he had finally earned what he had been searching for all along. But more importantly, he had discovered the meaning of true strength. It was not just about defeating enemies. It was about protecting those who stood beside you. After everything he had endured, the warrior finally returned to his people. But this time, he was not returning as the weak son everyone had ignored. He was returning as someone who had survived the impossible. His companion stood beside him and gave him a sincere congratulations. She knew better than anyone how much he had changed. This journey had not only taught him how to fight, it had taught him why to fight. He had learned that true strength was not only about killing enemies, it was about protecting the ones who believed in you. As he stood there, something unexpected happened. The warriors of his clan slowly raised their weapons. One after another, everyone showed him the highest honor given to a true member of their royal bloodline. For the first time in his life, he was accepted, not because of his power, not because of his victories, but because of the warrior he had become. He looked around and realized that the journey that started with proving himself had turned into something much bigger. He had lost his brother. He had faced monsters. He had fought against his own family. But through all of it, he discovered something his people had forgotten. A warrior is not defined only by how many enemies he can defeat. A warrior is defined by what he is willing to protect. Just when everything seemed peaceful, the sky above them changed. A massive spacecraft appeared in the distance, moving closer toward the planet. Everyone looked up in silence. The arrival of this unknown ship could only mean one thing. His story was not over yet. A new challenge was coming, and the warrior who once had nothing now stood ready to face whatever waited ahead. Thanks for watching. Post, like, follow, and subscribe.